Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today we are thinking about manifesting love. Yes, I had to bring Michelle back because we talked about manifesting miracles. Now it's time to get specific and talk about manifesting love because we're all looking for love some way, somehow. If you don't already got it, then let's really think about it. So, Michelle, thank you again for coming on my show. I'm just curious, what made you bring up the topic of manifesting love?
Well, it's something that I get asked all the time. First, can I manifest my ex back? Second, most popular question I get is, how do I manifest my soulmate? How do I manifest my sugar daddy? How do I manifest, all these different things? So we're in the love season of love right now with Valentine's Day right around the corner. And maybe when this airs, Valentine's Day was last week. I don't know. But I thought it'd be a great topic because, I don't think love necessarily means external love. I think having, love for yourself and being able to be in love with yourself is vital in that process of manifesting a significant person.
I love that because it brings it to a deeper level. Like, let's be honest, when you're able to have that type of love and that aspect, then it's more than just black and white. You know what I mean? It's more than just vanilla. You know what I mean? It's deeper.
Mm-hmm.
There's something deeper because then you'll find somebody that reaches you at a level that you didn't even realize, so that when you interact with that person, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
this could be my person, but they don't look like my person in my head, but they look like my person. That's my person. You know what I mean? So that's how I think about it. I mean, am I kind of right?
Yeah, I think that, I think when it's a soul connection, it really won't matter what they look like and all of those aspects because you guys were destined to be together. And so therefore, it feels almost like instantly connected.
Yeah. Most definitely. It's like instant. It's like it's weird, and it's sad that majority of the time when people have this connection, the biggest thing that they do is just run away because they think, oh, this can't be for me, or they reject it because they're still figuring out themselves. You know what I mean? And what would you say to people who are probably in that position?
More than, I would say it's not what you're thinking. I would say more than likely they grew up in a toxic love relationship. So their parents probably fought. And so that partner is trying to cause fights, and you might be a peaceful person. And so they are associating love with bickering and fighting. Let's say that you grew up with somebody who had an unemotionally available mother or an unemotionally available father. Well, the second that you show up and you're all healed and this person isn't, and you're like, hey, I don't need to cause stupid fights. I don't need to have jealousy, situations. Like, I want to be deeply, fully in love with you. Do you want that too? And they say yes, but then they realize the only love they've experienced was a love that was a dismissive love from their parents, or they had to fight for that attention. And here you are just pouring it on to them, and they don't understand it because the way that they've always perceived love was through battles or through fights or through, making them happy. So, a lot of times you'll see people who are in these relationships that the one person, either the girl is totally dominant and mean to the man, or the man is totally dominant and mean to the girl, because the girl, the girl who's being the dominant one in that situation, has manifested somebody exactly like her childhood. And then the guy who's dominating a woman is manifested something exactly like in his childhood. So, if you learn to understand what energy is and you're finding yourself in those kinds of toxic relationships, it's because you haven't healed from your childhood. And so the universe is coming to you and saying like, hey, until you heal what's inside of you, the universe is going to reflect back what you really are.
Ooh, that's deep. That's deep right there. It's
Because
going to
everything is a
reflect
mirror.
back. Exactly, it is. But when you say it in that context, really makes people realize, okay, what's happening inside me, you know what I mean? That's when you
Mhm.
really have to ask yourself those hard questions, you know. And I think you kind of asked my questions, so I was going to ask, like, do you have to be content with yourself? But you're going to have to be in that healing process. You're going to have to start healing yourself in some way so that you know how to manifest the right love that you really want, not the type of love that you just recognize and what you accept to be your truth at the moment, because you haven't explored that area yet, you know, because that's what it's sounding like. And that's what I like about what you just said, is because you make people realize, like, come on now, what is love? Well, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to me? Because it's very subjective. Let's be honest, my version of love is going to be different than your version of love, because we were both growing up in a different world where love was perceived in a different way. And I think once people fill in that blank, love to me appears to be la 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 la, then it's like, okay, now what do I really want? You know what I mean? You got to ask yourself that, right? When you're doing this manifesting, and I'm assuming when you're coaching these people, you have to ask them, what do you really want out of this, right?
Well, I mean, do I ask people what they want out of love, or, so I think what a better question is, and I get what you're kind of trying to say there, is if you're wanting to attract somebody into your life and you're coming from a place of lack, you're going to attract somebody who is lacking. And if you've filled yourself up, if you think you are great, if you have gone through your childhood, forgiven people who have hurt you, forgiven your history, let it all go. If you have, I had to forgive my mother for dying, my father for giving me away, the 4 or 5 different people who sexually assaulted me before the age of 17, my husband for abusing me, my children for not being born to me, um, to the point where I just really felt like there was nobody who had love in this world, because I was reflecting back into the world all the pain I had endured, and I was holding on to my suffering like a badge of honor. Like, well, if I forgave her, then I have to forgive my dad, and then I have to forgive my abuser, and then I have to forgive my father, and then I have to forgive my husband, and then, oh my gosh! But first on the list should have been yourself. And you should have been looking at, like, why am I not obsessed and in love with myself? Because what I find most when people contact me to, want to manifest their ex because they see it on TikTok, or they, I want to manifest my soulmate. My first question to them is like, hey, what is the last 5 things you did nice for yourself? Okay, if that list is hard to form, now you're thinking in your mind that there is a solution to your sadness, and it's called a partner. There is a solution to your financial issues. It's called somebody who has more money than me. There is a solution to your depression. It's called not being alone. Well, all you're going to do is attract somebody who thinks your money is going to help them. Your situation is going to help them. Being with you is going to make them less lonely. But this is why I don't like when people say, I want somebody who's 50-50, or I want somebody that completes me. I'm sorry, but if I'm going to go to the bank, I don't want somebody with 50% of the income. I want somebody with 100% of the income, just like I want my income to be 100%. And so if I'm looking for somebody who has 50%, then I'm downgrading, right? So I want somebody who has spiritually aligned with themselves to say, you know what? Everybody's great, but I can also be cool by myself, because I take so much pride and I've worked so hard to love myself unconditionally, to have high standards for myself, to only allow the highest vibrational realities to interfere and intertwine with my quantum field. So if you go on dates, anybody right now, I don't care what you look like, anybody with the sound of my voice could put on whatever they think is their cutest outfit, wouldn't even matter. Go to a local watering hole, show up at 1:30 in the morning, and you're going to go home with a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Okay. So finding love isn't hard. Everybody's horny. But finding a spiritual soul match for yourself takes discernment. And when you have a little bit of more discernment for yourself, the playing field gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, because not that many people have worked on themselves. Not that many people are healing themselves. Not that many people are looking to have a life that they're not looking for someone else to save them. The second thing that I always say is, when somebody's been removed from your life, it's because you were not aware of all the conversations that were had, but your team of light is. And they also will shut down your most beautiful and admirable aspects to the wrong person. So you always look like a bad choice to them, because your spirit guides and your angels are like, tonta, dummy. Why are you constantly going for the person that is always going to be the broken part of you? You think, oh, he's a fixer-upper because you think you're a fixer-upper. Okay? But sprinkle, guess what? If you think you're high value, and you think you're worthy of all your doors being opened, and you think you're worthy of people planning romantic dates just because it's a Monday, then you're going to, because you're doing that for yourself. You're taking yourself out to dinner. You're buying yourself a massage. You're getting yourself all your nails. You're doing yourself all your beauty things. Well, then this other person's going to come in and say, like, how do I compete with herself? Right? So last night we had the Super Bowl and the big love story going on, Taylor and Travis. Well, Guess what? Last Super Bowl, he was with his last girlfriend. Guess what? They split their Super Bowl costs 50-50, because all the players have to pay for their own tickets, for their family members, for everything else. So she wasn't sitting in her highest version. She was seeing him as the level up. I'm not saying I don't know anything about the relationship. I'm just saying something in his divine masculine said, right? Now he's with somebody who is literally his equal or better, and she's gone through all these other people. He shelled out $1 million for the suite her parents are going to be in.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a perfect example of somebody who, and if you watch Miss Americana, I was not a Swiftie, and I am now, but I was not. And I watched Miss Americana, and what does she do? Since the age of 12, she's journaling everything about her life, everything that upsets her, everything that happens. And her mom opens up this journal of her when she's like 13. And in the journal, she says, one day I'm going to be in every stadium, not as the American flag singer, whatever the intro singer, but as the concert. And at 14, she saw who she was going to be at 37. And she was consistently pushing herself. And every time somebody showed up that didn't meet those standards, she said, okay, bye, and wrote a song about you, right? Her new album that's coming out right now is about her ex-husband who said, I don't want you to have a career. I want you to be a wife. And now he's married with a wife. Okay. So when we look at ourselves as either a full of potential and everybody out there has to raise the bar for us, we're going to meet with somebody who is the same caliber. But if we're still working on, knight in shining armor, you're the knight in shining armor. Okay. If you're still working on somebody else is going to make me happy and not living your life, then you're going to find somebody who is codependent, who isn't out there looking for, things that they want to do on their own and living on that high vibrational reality. So whenever I meet somebody like this, I'm like, well, your ex is gone because they didn't meet the requirements that you have. So you need to let that go because the past is gone and it's separated for a reason. Perhaps the reason your last 3 relationships failed is because you're still dating people that you were dating when you were not healed. Mm-hmm. And so you're looking into the same little window and saying I think I want a mocha latte. Well, no, you don't. You want the oat milk. You want, non-dairy. You want non-fat. You want a little bit of caramel. You want all these different things because you're changed it, but you're still going up there and ordering the same drink every single time and be like, oh my God, I hate it. It's so sweet. Blah, 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 blah. Well, that's the universe. You're calling out to the universe and you're saying, I'd like to order a mate. And then, I want him to be this and this and this. Those were your old requirements.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to manifest a lover, a loving relationship, start with the person in the mirror.
Yeah, start with yourself. That's very true.
Do you make love to yourself? Do you pamper yourself? Do you talk kindly to yourself? I've had a box of vegan chocolates arriving to my house on Valentine's Day. I have flowers going to be in my house on Valentine's Day. I have a massage booked for myself on Valentine's Day. Next year, I don't know. Maybe they'll take me to Turks and Caicos instead of, what'd you do last year? Massage, went shopping, bought myself some few things, got chocolates, flowers. Mm-hmm. Oh. So how do we do that? How do we do that bigger? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Keep that standard or make it better.
Because you're living, because when you're manifesting, what manifesting is bringing something from your thought to reality and being a vibrational frequency, energetic match to that quantum field. And in that quantum field, things will appear based on your belief about your worthiness. So people are like, well, we can't manifest money when you have money blocks. It's not that you can't manifest money. It's that there's something in your patterns that are preventing you from being in flow with that chakra, with that energy, because money is the most abundant thing on the planet. It's everywhere. And there's so many ways to get it, just like love. But if you start to believe that there's scarcity, then you're going to manifest scarcity. Oh, there's no good guys, so I'm just going to have to take this one. Okay. And then good guy is just right around the corner. 2 days later, he would have been in the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So, when it comes to manifesting love, first, if you have a child, a son or a daughter, would you want them dating you in this state?
No.
Right.
You'd want to be better.
Right.
You want to be at a point where you could take better care of yourself.
Right.
And
so if you look at it like that, like, would you date you? Would you set you up with your brother? Would you set you up with your niece? Well, probably not. You're like, no, because I'm a little depressed on Tuesdays and I overeat on Wednesdays and da-da-da. Well, then let's heal that. Let's work on that. Right?
Because lay it on the table.
Yeah. And it's not too late. You can start right now. You can start by meditating. You can start by doing nice things for yourself. You can start by living a life that it amplifies to everybody who knows you, that you take care of yourself, that you love yourself, and that you're good to yourself. Because if you're not, why would somebody set you up with their guy friend or their girlfriend? Like, well, she's kind of this and she's kind of this and she's kind of that, but she's really pretty and she's single, so you should just go meet her. Like, what? So
that sounds like a hot mess. I don't want to deal with that. Like, right. No, yeah.
So if you would not put yourself up to date your children right now, become the version of yourself that you would set yourself up with, and watch the universe say, okay, great. Now we're going to bring that version of somebody to you. Right. And level up and level up and level up, but never stop journaling, never stop loving yourself, and never stop seeing yourself as somebody who's worthy of having that, whatever you believe romantic relationship story should be or could be.
I like this. I like this conversation very much. Thank you so much, Michelle, for this and for helping me adjust my perspective, because you're right. I seen it in one way, but you explained it in a way where I literally was able to adjust it to understand manifesting love in a deeper way. So I thank you for this. I thank you for just giving me your time, giving me your perspective, and breaking it down to like layman's terms, to kindergarten terms, break it down for us, for people in the back. Sometimes we're a little slow. So I appreciate you for still keeping up with us because this is a great topic, because a lot of people are stuck in those ways. And it's not just with love. Like you said, it was with money and so many aspects in our lives where we allow survival and fear to really hold us back. And I appreciate you just reminding us to focus on the person in the mirror. Focus on yourself, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? Like if you have a heartbeat, that means you are worthy of a higher vibration, of a higher standard, of a higher being, of something that you don't even know that you're capable of. And it's so exciting because I see the things that I want and I desire so bad. And every time we come across each other, it's just like, yes, Missy, refocus, shift your perspective. You got this. Just keep going.
Well, let's put it to you this way. There isn't some universal accountant that is sitting there saying, wow, Missy's done this many good things. So she can, in this life, she can manifest $1.2 million. But Beyonce's done all these other things. So she gets 400 billion.
Yeah.
There isn't a spiritual accountant. Okay. That's judging. It's us. We're saying like, oh, that's so much, or I don't want too much. What's too much?
Right.
You live on one planet with 9 planets in your galaxy in one solar system. There are 156 billion with a B solar systems. Let me break that down for you. That means that you need 100 million for 1 billion. 100 million for 1 billion, and there's 156 billion solar systems. And we are in one. There are infinite ways that things can come to you. There are infinite realities in which you can tap in and out of. So if you're sitting here in your little cap going like, well, I want something, but it's really hard, or I can't get it, or I'm not worthy of it, you're probably battling some sort of imposter syndrome. You're probably battling some sort of worthiness issue. And the universe isn't interested in hearing about those things. The universe is interested in bringing you to a place where you want to have a boyfriend that wins the Super Bowl, and you want to have 13 Grammys and make $250 million a performance. After she pays all of her bills, Miss Swift makes $250 million a city. So there isn't some reality in which the universe is saying, well, there's only 6 people, according to the ledger, that can have that.
Yes, exactly.
So you're the one that's stopping that from coming. You're the one that's saying like, oh, that's too much, or that's too big, or I don't, whatever. So remember, when you are not in love with yourself, when you're not like legitimately obsessed with your happiness, why would anybody else be?
Exactly. Why would anybody else be? Why would anybody want to even be intrigued to look in your window if you're not even doing anything?
And then
Laying
think
there
about
like a lump in a log.
Yeah. And then think about the first person, like if you aren't that way, they see right through that. People who are looking for people who are weak. And so they know narcissistically how to love bomb you, how to manipulate you, how to take advantage of you, because you already believed they're going to take advantage of you. You already believe that nothing good is going to happen. You already believe everybody's a dog. So you're more of a vibrational match to somebody who's looking for a victim.
Exactly. There you go.
And people who are looking for strong, true love, guess what? They're not at the bar at 1:50 in the morning and, last call. All right. They're not.
Exactly.
So loving yourself, doing things that you love is going to attract more love and loving relationships into your life, and more situations in which the universe can align you with more and more opportunities to feel and be loved.
There you go. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You guys heard it first from Michelle again. And if you want to reach out to her, because I'm pretty sure that she sparked your interest and sparked your curiosity of how you can really shift your perspective going forward, because you deserve to love you. You know what I mean? You deserve to heal every part of you. Even if it seems scary, it's worth it. You deserve it. You know what I mean? So that being said, always, always, always keep thinking, y'all. Bye.